You can listen to this week's Bible story at Bible Stories for Big Kids, wherever you get your podcasts. Nobody likes waiting, and there is a lot of waiting going on in New York City right now. Not just waiting for the next subway train, but because spaces are small and social distancing is required, you wait outside a lot to pick up kids from school, to get into the grocery store, to go see the doctor, to pick up your lunch. There is a lot of waiting. So maybe we have just the tiniest inkling, just a teensy-weensy bit of insight into what the children of Israel were feeling. I mean, they were so happy to have gotten out of Egypt, but now they had been wandering in the desert for ages, and on top of that, their leader had disappeared up a mountain and had not come back down. And they were getting, understandably, really impatient. And they decided that they didn't have time to wait for their leader, to wait for their God. They were going to create their own God. So, out of their own jewelry, they fashioned a golden calf. Because they thought what they needed was a God they could see and touch and would give them an immediate sense of security in the midst of a very uncertain situation. But of course, it was a false god, and it was absolutely no good to them. So yeah, we kind of get that. We are not wandering in the desert, but whether you live in New York City or small town USA, we are weary. We are weary of the restrictions. We are weary of the distancing, of no hugs. We are weary of working from home, weary of homeschooling, and we are weary of not seeing an end in sight. Here in New York, just yesterday we learned that Broadway is going to stay dark until at least May of 2021. May! When you cannot see the promised land, it is really, really hard to stay patient while wandering in the desert. And it is very, very tempting to turn to false gods and idols. Those things that we can see and touch in the here and now and give us comfort and the illusion of security, but really do nothing good for us. If there ever was a time to turn to a false idol, now is not it. Now is the time to double down on our efforts to connect with the God who created us, the God who loves us, the God who will never leave us. To pick up our Bibles, to renew our prayer lives, to connect with our faith communities. Now is the time to put our faith and our trust in God. Even if we are weary, even if we are tired of wandering, even if we can't see the promised land. False idols are never the answer, but God always is.